Hey, how's it going, guys? Mush here, back with a $450 gaming PC build. Now, this build you could expect performance comparable to, say, a console, the PS4 or the Xbox One particularly. And while it is a little bit more expensive when compared to the price of a console, keep in mind that this is also a fully fledged PC, and you won't have to pay for online services such as PlayStation Plus or Xbox Live. So when you take that into account, this is comparable to the price of a console as well. And also bear in mind that this is a fully fledged PC, so this is a pretty good deal in my opinion if you're looking to get into PC gaming at a relatively cheap price. For the CPU of this build, I went with the AMD FX-6300 3.5 GHz 6-core processor. This is a really nice processor for only $90, so it's extremely cheap, but it definitely packs in a lot of performance. With 6 cores, you're definitely going to be able to do a lot of gaming, especially because a lot of games these days like Witcher 3, Dying Light are taking advantage of more than 4 cores, and the 6300 6 cores is being taken advantage of in games, which in the past wasn't really being taken advantage of at all, but nowadays it is. And it can do decent in video editing and rendering and live streaming as well. I know a lot of you guys are into that, and since the consoles these days can do live streaming as well, I think a lot of you guys do want live streaming and rendering and video editing out of your PC, so this 6-core definitely does a decent job at it, but it is only $90, so don't expect killer performance, but for the price, you really can't go wrong with this CPU. For the motherboard, I went with the Asus M5A78L-M USB 3 Micro ATX motherboard. This is a very cheap motherboard for only $58. So why did I go with this motherboard? Because it's cheap. This is a $450 build, and with the motherboard, I was just looking for something that gets the job done, and this motherboard definitely gets the job done. It does also have 4 RAM slots, so you do have upgraded ability options as far as the RAM is concerned, so that's pretty nice. But otherwise, this motherboard isn't loaded with a lot of features, but it's cheap, and that's probably the key drawing factor of why I went with this motherboard, because you do save money and you can put that towards the crux of a gaming machine, which is the graphics card. For the RAM, I went with G.Skill RipjawsX series 8GB, 2 4GB sticks running at 1600 MHz. Even in a budget build, it's very paramount that you do go with 8GB of RAM these days. A lot of games definitely benefit a lot from having 8GB. 4GB is starting to become marginalized, and you know, games coming out these days like Dying Light, Witcher 3, you're going to see a lot of them recommending to have 8GB. But going with anything more than 8GB right now, especially in a budget build, doesn't make a lot of sense, and 8GB is pretty cheap. It used to be really expensive, but now you can get 8GB of RAM for $50 to $55, and that's what you're getting out of the G.Skill RipjawsX series 8GB, 2 4GB sticks, only around $55. It's 8GB of RAM. You guys know the gist of this deal. For the hard drive, one with the Western Digital Caviar Blue 1TB, $50 for this hard drive. Now, while you can get a 120GB SSD for around this price, 120GB for most of you guys is probably not enough, especially if you're buying games from Steam that range anywhere from 8GB all the way up to 60, 70, 80GB. You know, that 120GB SSD really isn't going to get the job done for a lot of you. That's an expansion option that you can pick up in the future, especially with SSD prices going cheaper and cheaper. That's something that you can pick up, say, in a year, 18 months, 24 months down the line, and it'll be super cheap. Right now, pick up this terabyte, and you're going to get a lot of storage, and most of you guys need at least a terabyte. And for $50, this is a damn good deal. For the graphics card, I want the Sapphire Radeon R7 260X 2GB video card. This video card can do 1080p gaming. It's $115. Don't expect to max out every game at 1080p and 60 frames per second, but you can play games like Witcher 2, like Battlefield 4, like Battlefield Hardline, like Dying Light at 1080p at high settings at 40 to 45 frames per second, which is very comparable to what the consoles are doing, maybe in some cases even a little bit better. And for $115, you're definitely going to be doing decent gaming on this, but like I said, not maxing out every game with high-end anti-aliasing and, you know, mods and all this crazy stuff. But again, it's going to provide decent performance at games at 1080p, at, you know, medium to high, even ultra settings in some cases at 40, 45, 50 frames per second. Just not going to be hitting that constant 60 that some of you guys are looking for. But at a $450 build, you're probably not expecting that either, so it should be just fine. For the power supply, I went with the EVGA 500-watt 80+ certified power supply. This is pretty solid. It's only $39. EVGA has a pretty good track record with all their power supplies, and getting anything more than 500 watts doesn't make a lot of sense since you can't even go for a crossfire configuration in this build. So 500 watts is definitely more than enough. The 260X is extremely power efficient, and the FX-6300 doesn't use a lot of power either. So this build, if I had to estimate, would probably only use like 350 to 380 watts at maximum. Finally, for the case, I went with the NZXT Source 210 white ATX mid-tower case. This is around $38. Solid mid-tower case, nothing fancy about it. It's cheap. It's going to get the job done. NZXT, again, has great track records with all their cases. The Source 210 is one of their cheaper cases, but still, it's going to get the job done, and it's perfect for a lower-end build like this, so this is a great case to go with. Thanks for watching this video, guys. If you enjoyed this video, leave a like. Comment down below with your requests for future videos. I read every single comment. I might not reply to all of them, but I definitely read all of them. So yeah, thanks for watching and have a great day. I'll catch you guys later. Peace.